Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from two important newspapers, that is the Hindu and Indian Express. So the most important news and editorial of the day would be discussed in this session. Let's get started with today's topic list. Today is 18th of December. The first topic, Ecologists oppose changes to Biological Diversity Act 2002. We'll see some of the concern that was raised. Second, concern over capital expenditure for different ministries. Actually जितनी भी allocations की गई थी capital expenditures, उसके against में कितनी ministries ने कितने expenses किए हैं उसकी data, we'll see that also. Third, France ready to supply more Rafale jets to India. This was a promise, or you can say the statement that was given by the defense minister of France. The second last is Russia draft pact to limit US NATO role in ex-Soviet nations. And the last is an editorial from the Indian Express that tackling agriculture reform after the Farm Law repeal. So we'll see the important aspect of this editorial as well. Apart from this, at the end of this video, there would be some MCQ based questions. These questions would be based on current affairs that you can practice in your home, and we'll publish the answer in the next video. And if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative, do not forget to press a like button. So before I start with the session, I would just like to inform you that we have launched IS Gyan new version of the app, that is 2.0. This is an application which will give you a lot more facilities that you were waiting for. Some of this include live classes, news and articles, daily MCQ, A to Z study material would be provided. You can also have peer discussions. You can download the PDFs over there and many other exciting features. So for details, what you have to do, you have to just refer to the description section of this video, from where you can directly get the download link and you can download this app. This is a very useful app that will continue to help through this journey of civil services. So starting with the first news, that is Ecologists oppose changes to Biological Diversity Act 2.0. This 2002 की जो एक्ट है उसमें चेंजेस लाई गई हैं, और ये चेंजेस कितनी हद तक इकोलॉजिस्ट ने कंसर्न रेज की है कमर्शलाइजेशन को प्रमोट करेगी उसको लेकर के, राइट. Something which is important for General Studies Paper 3, Conservation, Environmental Pollution and EIU. So what actually has happened that recently लोक सभा में बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी अमेंडमेंट बिल 2021 लाई गई. दिस वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, और इस बिल में जो इम्पोर्टेंट प्रोविजंस हैं, अमंग देम द फर्स्ट इज दैट इट एग्जेम्प्ट द आयुष प्रैक्टिशनर. जितने भी आयुष प्रैक्टिशनर्स हैं उनको बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी एक्ट से बाहर रखा गया है. अंडर दे हैव बीन केप्ट आउट फ्रॉम द एम्बिट ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी एक्ट 2002, राइट. और इसी बिल में, इस अमेंडमेंट बिल में ये कहा गया है दैट इट विल फैसिलिटेट द बायोलॉजिकल रिसोर्सेज एंड ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज बाय इंडियन ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन सेक्टर्स, राइट. तो बायोलॉजिकल जो रिसोर्सेज है, जो ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज है, उनकी एक्सेस दी जाएगी मेडिसिन सेक्टर्स के, जैसे जो भी पुराने इंडस्ट्रीज में ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन बना रहे हैं उन लोगों के लिए. सो एक हिडन इंटरेस्ट है जहाँ पे इस तरह के इंडस्ट्रीज को प्रमोट करने की कोशिश की जा रही है. सो द लीगल एक्सपर्ट आर ऑफ द ओपिनियन that by easing this norm, the sector could be detrimental to ecology, and it can also go against the principle of sharing commercial benefit with indigenous communities, right. Recently अगर आप example के तौर पे देखना चाहें, because expert ने कहा है कि कुछ ऐसी कंपनीज है, I'll not name them in this video, so कुछ ऐसी कंपनी है जिन्होंने बहुत अच्छी रेगुलेट किया अपने मार्केटिंग को, and they're working even in every household. They were basically a yoga people. They have come into marketing, right? Most of you must be aware of the fact what I'm talking about. तो इस तरह की चीज़ों की जो benefits है वो actual उन लोगों को मिलेगी, and government इसी जो experts हैं वो चाहते हैं कि government इन चीज़ों को ज़्यादा promote ना करे. Now, what is about Biological Diversity Act 2002? So the Biological Diversity Act 2002 was enacted. इसकी जो पूरी कोशिश थी that conservation of biological diversity and fair and equitable sharing of monetary benefits should be there from commercial use ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल रिसोर्सेज टू ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज, राइट। तो इसकी जो बेनिफिट्स है, जो मॉनिटरी बेनिफिट्स आती हैं कमर्शियल यूजेस से या फिर ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज से, वो सारे लोगों में बटनी चाहिए मॉनिटरी बेनिफिट्स उसकी, राइट। बेसिकली जो पीपल कंसर्न है उस एरिया में जिनको अलाउ किया गया है उन लोगों के बीच में। Now, what is the new amendment? The Biological Diversity Amendment Bill 2021 called for. The amendment seeks to reduce the pressure on wild medicinal plant by encouraging the cultivations of medicinal plant. First, second, जैसा मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में बताया, it exempt the Ayush practitioner from intimating biological boards and accessing biological resources or knowledge, which is not good because these people are working for allotment. They have to study, they have their other source of basically investment that they make in terms of making their career. तो इनको यहाँ से exempt करना सही नहीं होगा at this point of time. This new amendment also facilitates the fast track research, which is good, simplifying the patent application process, which is also welcome, decriminalize certain offenses because the draft is still not, basically ये bill आई है, अभी इसी consultations भी नहीं की गई है, so we cannot comment on this. Now bring more foreign investment on in biological resources, research, patent, commercial utilizations without compromising the national interest. ये कुछ इस bill के amendment bill के important features और provisions है. Now कुछ criticism इस bill के लिए की गई है. The first and foremost that the Biological Diversity Amendment Bill 2021 has been introduced without seeking the public comment, right? Because किसी भी bill को टेबल करने से पहले एक प्री लेजिस्लेटिव कंसल्टेशन पॉलिसी होती है where public comments are required. For this particular bill, no such procedure was followed. And even under the Biodiversity Act 2002, the National and State Biodiversity Board are required to consult the Biodiversity Management Committee, right, to take any actions. So this things was actually not done. Now moving to the second news of the day, that is concern over capital expenditure for different ministries. This is important for General Studies Paper 2, Indian Economy, an issue related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. So what is there in this news? The Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, she has pulled up the infrastructure ministries for their sluggish performance, right? जो capital expenditures उनको allocate की गई थी, उस तर्ज पे काम नहीं की गई है, and she wanted that they should speed up their productive work, and which invariably will be calling for stimulation in an economy. COVID-19 के बाद it is essentially required that all ministries should work with their full potential to ensure that revival of economy is going with a good pace. So जो latest data available है with the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, CAG ने जो अपनी रिपोर्ट दी है उसके मुताबिक कुछ बहुत ही astonishing facts हैं, we'll discuss that also. तो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर्स की बात की गई है कि फर्स्ट 7 months during 2021 to 2022 it was estimated that 45.7% of the budget has to be there, but जो डेटा आई है उसमें बहुत मिनिस्ट्रीज ने अपने हिसाब से एक्सपेंसेस कम किया हुआ है. तो ग्रोथ रेट की अगर बात करें, इंडियन इकोनॉमी हैज क्लॉक्ड अ ग्रोथ रेट ऑफ 8.4%. This is for July-September 2021 and having contracted for 7.4% in corresponding previous period, right? And for the full year, the Reserve Bank of India has estimated the growth rate of 9.5%. This is an estimations. We have to see whether this become reality or not. Now, CAC की अगर data की बात करें, basically this is I think that there's a spelling mistake. This would be the CGA, right? Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So according to the report, it says for the first 5 months how actually was the performance. So you can see this is about all the ministries, their capital expenditure and their total expenses. CapEx stand for capital expenditure. बात करें सबसे पुअर परफॉर्मेंस रही है पावर की, which has only utilized 7% of their capital expenditure, right? Again followed by telecom which is only utilized 12%. और अगर आप यहाँ पे बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस की बात करोगे, so railway has utilized almost 56% of their capital expenditure. Again the second goes to housing and urban affairs which stand with 50 or 54%. उसके बाद जो तीसरी नंबर आती है that is atomic energy, right? So these some of basic data would be important for you. इंटरव्यू में भी आपके लिए ये हेल्पफुल होगी. इवन इफ यू राइटिंग ए जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 3, यू कैन जस्ट नेम द मिनिस्ट्रीज. परसेंटेज जरूरत नहीं है, बट आप बता सकते हैं टॉप परफॉर्मर्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ कैपिटल expenditure and the least utilization from the ministries. Now in October, the cabinet secretary has taken an initiation and he wrote the letter to all the secretaries asking for expediting the expenditure and particularly the capital expenditure, right? और capital expenditure की बात करें, this need to be speed up to meet the target of current financial year, right? This is how it actually works, it actually functions. Now, the other news, that is France ready to supply more Rafale jets to India, something which is important for General Studies Paper 2, bilateral regional grouping and agreement evolving India's and affecting India's interest. So, France, basically, Defense Minister is there in India. Florence Parly, she has visited on a meet and some more engagement has been done between India and France. So, addressing the third annual defense dialogue, जो फ्रांस के डिफेंस मिनिस्टर है उन्होंने कहा दैट फ्रांस इज रेडी टू प्रोवाइड एडिशनल रफाल फाइटर जेट टू इंडिया इफ इंडिया रिक्वायर इट एंड इट पुट फॉरवर्ड अ रिक्वेस्ट दैट वी वांटेड. फ्रांस इज रेडी टू गिव, राइट? एंड दिस इज द फर्स्ट इंटरैक्शन बिटवीन द टू डिफेंस मिनिस्टर सिंस ऑगस्ट. बेसिकली जब पहले एग्रीमेंट हुई थी, इससे पहले उन्होंने जो ऑगस्ट की ट्रिपार्टी एग्रीमेंट थी वहाँ पे इन्होंने सेक्टर किया था, मुलाकात की थी. आफ्टर दैट दिस इज द first interaction, physical in-person interaction that they're having. Now, France is set to take part the presidency of European Union Council in January 2022. So this would be again an important platform for India to strengthen the relationship with France, which will definitely help to get engaged with other European countries. Now, some brief about Rafale specification, although I have discussed this previously also. इसके टॉप स्पीड की अगर बात करें 1.8 मैच. दिस कैन बी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर मेनी अदर कम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशंस, राइट? इट कैन फ्लाई अप टू हाइट ऑफ 5.30 meters एंड मैक्सिमम टेक ऑफ इज 24.5 ना. और भी कुछ ऐसे बेसिक टेक्निकल फीचर्स हैं विच यू एक्चुअली डोंट वांट टू नो, बट ये आपके लिए ये दो चीज़ें ज़रूरी है. ओवरऑल एम्प्टी वेट 10 टन की है और जो टॉप स्पीड है वो 1.8 मैच की है. Now, Indo-France Industrial and Technological Partnership की अगर बात करें, so this is a partnership that the Prime Minister of India has also called for in line with Make in India, and it is expected to form the integral part of discussion. जो आज मीटिंग होनी है उसकी एक बहुत ही important aspect होगी है, which covers some of the important areas like counter-terrorism cooperations, wide-ranging Indo-defense cooperation including the operational of the defense forces and even the defense operation, maritime security in the Indo-Pacific region. Indo-Pacific एक बहुत बड़ी कंसर्न है फ्रांस जैसे कंट्री के लिए भी, इवन इट इज देयर फॉर इंडिया, यूएस के लिए भी. सो यहाँ पे भी इंडो-पैसिफिक की बातों को हाईलाइट की जाएगी. डिफेंस एंगेजमेंट की अगर बात करें, देयर वेर सेवरल मेजर इंडो-फ्रांस जॉइंट एक्सरसाइजेस दैट वाज accompanied by the सक्सेसफुल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, जहाँ पे मेक इन इंडिया प्रोजेक्ट के थ्रू रफाल डिलीवरीज इंडियन एयरफोर्स को दी गई है. इवन द स्कॉर्पियन क्लास सबमरीन वाज आल्सो प्रोवाइडेड टू इंडियन नेवी. नाउ कॉल फॉर कॉपरेशन इन इंडो-पैसिफिक. बेसिकली these two countries are looking forward that in Indo-Pacific region there should be a transparency, equality should be there in terms of promoting trade for both countries, right? The France Defense Minister has also detailed about the recent EU strategy because 2022 में जब इनकी बात chairmanship होगी, so they would be looking with a detailed strategy that how comprehensive approach should be there with this region. And both India and France has expressed their commitment to enhance the cooperation of bilateral, regional, multilateral forum. Indo-Pacific is an area जहाँ पे पूरी focus है ताकि eastern part of the larger area of the Asia, even in the broader context, जो चाइना की डोमिनेंस है उसको कम की जाए, and they want a rule-based order to be established in the Indo-Pacific region. Russia draft to Pact, basically to limit US NATO forces in ex-Soviet nation. This is something which Russia has always called for, not to intervene, but this is a kind of warning that is given by Russia to United States, right? Something which is important for General Studies paper 2, effect of policies and politics for developed and developing countries. तो रशिया ने एक प्रपोजल लाई है, बनाया है रशिया ने. बेसिकली दे हैव अनवील्ड अ प्रपोजल टू कंटेंट दैट यूएस एंड नाटो इन should not be there in the part of former Soviet Union, even in Eastern Europe, while having an under negotiations, like एक अर्जेंट negotiations की बात की गई है, that यूएस जिस तरह से अपने फोर्सेस को यूक्रेन की तरफ डिप्लॉय करने की बात कर रहा है, इट शुड नॉट डू दैट. दिस इज अ वार्निंग दैट वाज गिवन बाय रशिया टू बोथ यू बेसिकली यूएस को, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स को, नॉटो के फोर्सेस के जो अलाइज हैं उनके लिए. सो रशिया हैज रिलीज्ड एन अनफिनिश्ड सिक्योरिटी डॉक्यूमेंट. जिस तरह के जो फॉरेन डिप्लोमेसी होती है उसमें इस तरह की चीज़ें डॉक्यूमेंट रिलीज की जाती है. सो द बेसिक वार्निंग्स that they should not bring any member or established based on the ex-Soviet countries. Now some details about the draft document. क्या क्या बातें कही गई है. एक कमिटमेंट मांगी गई है that the US would refrain from any enlargement of the assertion in Ukraine, and it also insisted कि जो alliance members है that should not conduct any military activities in Ukraine or any part of Eastern Europe, South Caucasus and Eastern Asia. Now, the security agreement between Russia and NATO that contain full pact weapons be refrained from detail near the border of Russia and allied members. इस particular topic के लिए जो आपके लिए ज़रूरी है वो है map work, right? So you can see this map. This all color indicate the blue in color is a Baltic republics. This is the Caucasus. This is Central Asia, and this is disputed territories. So this was a Ukraine, this was a Crimea, right, which was divided, right? So ये disputed areas हैं. आपसे sea से related या फिर इस आसपास के जो adjoining area है उसके बारे में भी सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं. So map work is very important for your prelims examination. Now the other news that is tackling agriculture reform after farm law repealed. This is important for General Studies paper 3, issues related to farm subsidies, MSP, revamping फूड सिक्योरिटी एंड बफर स्टॉक्स. इस पूरे एडिटोरियल में कुछ 3 इंपॉर्टेंट सबहेड्स हैं: बैकग्राउंड, कॉर्पोरेट वर्सेस फार्मर्स एंड इंटरवेंशन रिक्वायर्ड, राइट? सो विल सी हाउ द एमएसपी एंड फार्म इनकम कैन बी इम्प्रूव्ड आफ्टर द रिपीलमेंट ऑफ 3 फार्म लॉज. सो जिस तरह से अभी प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने रिसेंटली 3 फार्म लॉ को रिपील किया है, उसके बाद जो सबसे बड़ी डिबेट है farm community में, that is regarding the MSP, how the MSP can become strengthened, can be getting a legal backing in terms of ensuring that a fair amount of MSP is given to all farmers, right? So NSSO की जो डेटा है उसके मुताबिक और जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव डेटा है गवर्नमेंट की, उस दोनों में तालमेल नहीं दिखी गई, because there's a huge of difference what government commit and what actual NSSO data show, right? So there's no consensus in the formula for the calculation of minimum support price, and in fact the MSP was formed as a mainstay of every committee. जितनी भी कमेटी बनी, इवन स्वामीनाथन कमेटी ने भी रेकमेंड किया था कि MSP पे एक प्रॉपर रेगुलेशंस करने की जरूरत है, एक प्रॉपर रिफॉर्म करने की जरूरत है, which would definitely have to ensure that farmer is getting their fair share, right? Now cost reduction कैसे कम की जा सकती? Cost reduction can happen by creating efficiencies and plug leakages by cutting, including the farmer margins. Recently ये देखा गया है that the government has agreed to constitute a committee on MSP. एक कमेटी बनाई जाएगी, उनके recommendations पे ध्यान दिया जाएगा. उसके बाद अगर जरूरत पड़े, government has not made it clear still they have not made it clear whether a law would be there to give a legal backing to MSP or not. Hopefully a formula can be arrived which cost domestic agriculture produce that can be reduced, और जहाँ पे remunerative जो fair prices है वो farmers को कम से कम मिले. Even doubling of farmer income is not possible because of COVID also some reasons. जो 2022 की target रखी गई थी तो doubling the farmer income, we'll see how it is possible. Even till 2024 we'll see that actually this is working or not in ground. Now corporate versus farmer की बात की गई है. Basically if you see this rules and law, basically जो third जो 3 लॉज लाई गई थी उसमें बहुत हद तक बताया गया था कि फार्मर की कम बेनिफिट है और कॉर्पोरेट हाउसेस ज़्यादा इससे बेनिफिट करेंगे। सो लार्ज स्केल लॉसेज ऑफ लैंड होल्डिंग की बात की गई है। लैंड होल्डिंग में जिस तरह से प्रोविजंस थे कि आप एसडीएम के पास जा सकते हैं फॉर योर रेजोल्यूशन, दिस इज नॉट एडिक्वेट इन अ कंट्री लाइक इंडिया, राइट? So this should only call for more and more back to the zamindari system, and that could have turning clock to the previous editions of all this land holding activities that took place in our country before independence. And the worst, that is the over corporatization without creating a requisite efficiency, ये जो हमारी ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन हुई है अभी तक इंडिया में, उसको भी कहीं ना कहीं अंडरमाइन कर सकता है. So this is the need of the hour to make and ensure a law which is there, which also give farmer not only income, but that also corporate in terms of providing the land holding. It should ensure कि जो फार्मर की जितनी भी लैंड है वो उनके हाथों पे बची रहे, चाहे वो large scale farmers हो या फिर small scale farmer. It is very important that the piece of land from which they are actually earning should stay with them for long. Interventions, किस किस तरह पे इंटरवेंशन की जरूरत है? There is a need to protect the land holding. Farmer fear in this regard should not be aggregated, and the government should also consider the dispute resolution mechanism in terms of any other sort of land related problems. And it would also be advisable to think in terms of fast track courts and to remove the provisions of recovery through the area of land revenue. Although land and revenue management किसी भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट या फिर डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर के अंदर होती है, राइट? सो दीज आर ऑल थिंग्स दैट गवर्नमेंट वुड डेफिनेटली हैव टू लुक अपॉन. Now, just to tell you that we have launched our prelims test series. This is for 2022. Those of you who want to practice a good high quality test, you can get this. You can attempt the test twice and you can regulate your performance also. You can just check your performance, right? For more details, you can refer to the description section of this video where I have provided a dedicated link to register for this course, right? Now let's get started with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's question. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for your practice, the World Sustainable Development Summit 2021. It is an annual flagship summit organized by Greenpeace. The theme for summit was redefining future safe and secure environment. So what you have to do, this is a topic, आप इसके बारे में और भी कुछ important facts देखें. This was there in news, and practice this question. We'll share the correct option in the next video, in the next edition, right? Shramik, it is a dynamic portal for job mapping skill for MSME and other industries. The portal uses algorithm and artificial intelligence to provide analysis of skill training program for the Shramiks. So this was again an important topic. This can be important for ministries of labor and employment, right? तो आप इसके बारे में और भी डिटेल देखिए, जो करेक्ट आंसर है वो मार्क करें. For more details, you can also refer to the previous editions of our all questions that is there in this video. और ये वीडियो जो questions है ये continuation में आपको मिलती रहेगी. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. This was all about the video for today. We'll meet next video. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.